Welcome to our program. Always a pleasure to have you with us. We are cable casting right here in Boston, BNN TV, and we can also be accessible on bnntv.org. So for all of you who are watching us on Channel 23 here on Comcast and Channel 83 on RC, and a very, very special welcome to our television audience. For those who are watching us worldwide on the World Wide Web, a very, very special welcome for people who are watching us on BNN TV. Well, Jim Sayer and myself have another special program for you. In fact, a very, very special program tonight, folks. I promise you that. Because Jim, as we speak right now, Jim is going to talk to us about an opportunity he had during this last couple of days working on a motion picture. And Ted Lewis joins us as well, and Ted is going to talk about social media. And we also have a very special guest, Marlon Forrester, who is an artist and is going to talk about all sorts of things, including a program, a display, a show that he has here in the city that has been extended to October 7th or October 8th. So we have a lot of things we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to have the first part of the program, and we're going to be talking about the subjects that we just mentioned. The second half of the program, we're going to take a little break. The second half of the program, we're going to ask you to give us a call and participate in this interactive television experience right here on BNN TV. Jim, a very special welcome.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me.
I guess you're co-host, so
that's right.
Jim, what has been going on these last couple of weeks?
The movie industry started picking up. We started seeing more people going to work, and everyone's trying to get a chance to get a shot at, fame and success and riches. I think we all want that somehow.
And a good shot at applying their artistic, their artistry.
Right. And everybody here who listened tonight, I want to thank John and our guest for being here tonight. Start of a new season.
That's right.
I hope everything starts off on the right foot.
Jim, I'm glad you said that. Right, we're starting a new season right here. Television season begins in September, and we're here for the next 4 months for the last part of 2012, and then we're going to be coming, of course, back in January. But this is the last. This is the beginning of our season, the 2012 season. So we're going to be with you for some more episodes, and we know that we're going to have a lot of interesting guests. We have Ted Lewis with us tonight, and Ted is going to talk about social media. I can't tell you how important that is, Ted, given everything that we've just talked about.
Very, very important. Things are happening, and I brought some charts along to show our viewers and talk about it, and talk about my recent experience of shooting the Caribbean Festival in New York City.
Right.
So some very interesting developments from that, and gives me a little bit more insight. So I'm really excited about being here and having the opportunity to really talk about this.
Oh, we're going to talk about a lot more about that too. And Marlon Forrester, very special welcome. The first time you've been on the program.
Yes, thank you for.
And I understand now it's all related because you're considered an artist. You do a lot of multimedia. That's what your artwork is generally considered, right?
Yes.
And you have a show coming up pretty soon.
Yes,
if not already.
Yes, I do. I have a show at the National Center of Afro-American Artists, and the show is called Playoff X: Recent Works by Marlon Forrester. And we have a closing coming up in September the 30th, and the show has also been extended, which is amazing for me, until October the 7th.
Right.
So, yeah, I would love for people to come out and definitely see the work.
And where's this going to be at?
This is going to take place at the National Center of Afro-American Artists in Roxbury, and the times are from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Actually, there's an important Roxbury Film Festival.
That's right. It's taking place there as well.
Is taking place here as well. We've talked about that a few years ago. Is that a yearly event?
That's a yearly event, yes. Yes. And so artists from the Boston community really have a great opportunity to kind of share their work, especially from the Roxbury area.
Right. And of course, it's all interactive. Everything is interactive in this business, too. Yes. Jim, in the summer, there's been an enormous amount of film shot here.
There has been. And we're lucky. Any time you get film shot in Massachusetts, it's a privilege to be here for those people who come.
Right.
I mean, it really is. Those people are nice to us. They do so much. They put so many people back to work, and the way the economy is, it's good to get a little boost. And I think everybody would share that with us. They would like to see more and more films here.
Right, and not only that, but I mean, people go see these movies and these programs on television. They say, "Hey, I want to see Boston too. That looks like a cool city," and it's good for tourism.
Yeah. It impacts tourism because when people see that, they want to visit the place where it was shot.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's good all around. It's good because Boston is a beautiful place. I've always believed in Boston, and it has so much to offer. And buy the movies. That's one way of telling people this is what Boston looks like.
And we were talking before we started the program too. We have so many SAG actors, and SAG and AFTRA are now one union. Is now one union. So AFTRA is American Federation of TV and Radio Artists. People who are on television and people who are in the motion picture industry belong to a union, and people who don't belong to a union, they're in movies too, and that's a good opportunity to get started. But with so many actors, so many local actors in this area, it gives them an opportunity to ply their craft as well as build up, experience.
Sure. The thing that people, I think, fail to understand, that here's your opportunity to learn what the industry is all about. And who knows, you may be discovered. And I've read a number of stories of people who had no intentions of becoming actors, but because they participated in a film, bingo, their life took off.
And Jim and I can tell you firsthand, movies go down the street.
I work for the utility company, and I get made fun of a lot when I go walk. When they see me on film, then I'm walking. The next day I walk in, and they give me a little razzle-tazz, and it's fun, good nature. I love the ribbon. So one of the kids says to me, "How do I get in?" And 2 weeks ago, I showed him how to get in one of the movies that are filming now called Makeover. They called him up, and they put him in it. And now, I guess his girlfriend told me, "Why'd you do that?" He doesn't shut up now. He thinks he's the next Denzel Washington. He wants to be in every movie. He's texting me. He's calling me. I said, "Relax. You'll get in some more, but it's a business that you don't go every day." Sometimes.
No, but
it's a long time, maybe, or a short time. It's one of those businesses.
But he's tapped into energy that he had that he wants to develop, and that's very, very important. And it's not every single day, but it's a lot more than it used to be. That's for sure. Jim and I can tell you, there are movies being shot on your local street. Roxbury has all sorts of projects going on. Dorchester too.
And it's funny, John, because last night as I was watching TV, I seen you in the movie. What's your number? Delivering the flowers, John. An excellent job.
Thank you, Jim.
I don't know what the Academy Award where they missed out on handing out flowers. I should have stepped up and gave an award for handing out flowers. You were the one they should have done.
That's right. I give the lead actress flowers. Anna Ferris. It was very, 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 very nice to work with. I had the greatest time in doing that scene. But I know that you were in that movie too.
Yes, I was. That's why I said that, just so you could. One hand washes the other.
Jim was in that.
It's not beneath an actor to not to throw one log to another log.
Jim was in that motion picture too, and it was shot right here in Boston. And it gave people an opportunity to not only see how the film was done, but also partake in the film itself. Jim and I are SAG actors, but a lot of people in it weren't SAG actors. They were in it because they enjoyed it. They went to the casting call. They were called, and they had the opportunity to be in a film and to be part of an important part of whether the film does well or not. It's an important part of their development as an actor. It gives the city an opportunity to bring talent, to develop talent here, and also it gives other producers the opportunity to bring their movies here.
And Ted will tell you, he does some filming. It's good to go to Boston to New York. You compare the two sometimes, and you can always learn somewhere else how things run on a bigger stage as New York, and you can apply it to here in Boston.
And that's why it's so important, folks, that if you know of your representative, your state representative, not the congressional representative, but your state reps, your state senators, tell them how important the film industry is here. Not only if you're not in the film yourself or you don't have any intentions of being in the film, but for the state itself. Make sure those tax breaks keep coming. Make sure that Hollywood has a substantial tax break. What is it, 20% now, 15? 25%. So that it's an incentive for the motion picture industry to come here to Massachusetts and build up this state, provide opportunities for local actors, and build up the infrastructure. I can't emphasize that enough. So that's something that's the political aspect of this.
But in social media, it's so much important because it's worldwide. You can go anywhere. As we're on the internet tonight, we'll be seen anywhere. And it's funny to say when you got social media, some people say, yeah, this shows this. But everyone gets a look at you. And everybody's saying, hey, maybe I can do something better. Maybe I can improve something. And we love the calls. We love to get a phone call. Someone got a suggestion, please pick up the phone and give us a call.
Yeah, we're gonna start opening up our phone banks pretty soon. We'll give you the number now. It's 617-708-3280, 617-708-3280, and we're cable casting live right here the BNN TV studio. Talk about social media. We're going to you on television, computer, YouTube now, right, Ted?
Yeah.
Thanks to you, YouTube now. So we are definitely universal.
Yes, they can see the show any number of times that they desire. I mean, they say repetition increases knowledge. And it gives you an opportunity to look back and pick up something you may have missed. Or see the show that you may have missed because you had to work or something like that.
Think about artists 200 and 300 years ago.
Yeah.
They did substantial works of art, and it wasn't until centuries later that the whole world had a chance to see that, because social media didn't exist then. Today you do a project and the whole world can see it.
Yeah, I mean, the speed of how quickly an image can move from one area to the next is definitely completely different. But I think back then there was also, you know, good old drawing. And so obviously those things deteriorated after a while, so it's a different impact.
Now they're made to last because of our technology.
That's correct.
You know, one of the things that Marlon does that caught my attention is this going to a popular spot and hitting this basketball up in the air to promote himself. And I was just thinking about putting that on YouTube or Facebook and let it go viral and just see where it goes. You know? Well,
you know, I like that you said that. It's one of the things that I kind of think about, and what I learned at Yale. I'm a graduate of museum school here in Boston, and I received my master's at Yale. And so while there, I had an opportunity to look at artists that created performance pieces as a way of expression, you know, not only their work, but how they wanted to kind of incorporate it into a space where the public could see it.
We see that with dance as well.
Yeah, with dance as well. And so I've been working on a series of works called Passing, and this is where I have a basketball, I hold it, and I lay flat, completely prone on the ground, and I throw it in the air. And I usually, what I'm looking for is that when we communicate with each other, passing is about engaging with someone else and sharing something. And so for me, it's kind of a way of ancestor worship and like really reaching out to those who came before us in a way and giving them the ball as a gift.
You're in basketball. You play basketball.
I played earlier. That's why I was running a little late. So. Yeah, I'm sore. You get older, you play basketball, you get a little sore. But it's great to keep me in shape.
And not only that, but sports is where when you reach young people because you're a teacher. And sports is you reach young people through television and sports. That's
music.
Music, right.
Music gives it a lot of energy. And I would think, like when you were laying down on the ground, we were shooting. Were you just throwing it up there just to? Was it at a different height you were trying to get to? Or like in a neighborhood, or just keeping it right in the same general area?
Well, one of the things I was thinking about was that as the ball was being released, I was also thinking about the idea of the location in space. And so even I have this piece over here, it's called Player in Love. And so that piece in particular was about the idea of you know, how interracial couples come together, and that the sport itself is all over the world. It's not really about color. Everyone can take part in it and really embrace the idea of what the sport represents. And so even with this piece that you saw, where I'm doing the performance piece, it's about the historical architecture that's around me and how the history of that architecture was created. And in resistance and juxtaposition to my body throwing the ball up as, you know, coming, you know, 100 years later, you know, 200 years, 300 years later.
And strangely enough, that's, interestingly enough, that's one of the reasons why the film industry finds Boston appealing, because of the historical architecture. It all fits. It all fits.
It's kind of Creole-ized, because you have these buildings that, you know, are 200 years old, and then you have them blended in with something that is, you know, just...
And we're going to take a call. Can we have your question, please? Hello.
Yes, hi. I wanted to say a special hello to Marlon from Marlon Fitzpatrick and his mother Helen, who remembers him very well, very talented young man. It's nice to see him. And tell Ted, John, and
Jim, what is, you enjoying the show?
I want to be in the next film.
You want to do a film too? Well, who doesn't, right, Jim? Who doesn't want to make? There's so many people doing independent films now
Yeah.
In fact, we've had Jim and I have had them on this show.
Yeah.
It's just not the feature, the movies that Jim and I were just speaking about. They're feature-length films. They're major motion picture studios that are coming here doing the films. But we've got a lot of independent films, and those do quite well too.
And also commercials.
Commercials too.
I did a commercial, and it's amazing what I made for 2 hours work.
Yes.
I mean, it was really like 3 minutes work, and I'm saying I got half a week's salary. I said, this is not that. This is not that.
You make a good commercial.
Yes.
That's right.
But sometimes you can be, and Jim can tell us this as well. We can be on a set. In fact, we were last year. In fact, Here Comes the Boom is being released in just a couple of weeks. It's not unusual for a movie to shoot 12, 13, 14 hours a day because you set up all the equipment, you have all of this going on, and you just don't want to break down. So there is a lot of
technical stuff about
that
you don't see in the background.
You don't see, like a 2-minute scene, and sometimes it could be 2 minutes, one shot, but sometimes a 2-minute scene can be
2 hours,
2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. That's not unusual.
And the thing is that not only that, but you're getting fed.
Right.
You get a real good meal.
And you're having a good time. You're having a good time. Too.
I did Blown
time
Away
too.
in 1991. Tommy Lee Jones, Jeff Bridges.
What was it?
That's one of my
Blown Away.
Oh, right, yeah. There was a big explosion in that.
I'm in the first 16 minutes.
Yeah.
You were a police officer.
I was a police officer in the movie, and it was just to be with those actors. Jeff Bridges, who father inspired me to become a scuba diver.
Lloyd Bridges,
right?
Sea Hunt.
Right, exactly,
Right.
yeah.
Sea Hunt.
So, I mean, to talk with them, and it was so personable. And now, when people see that movie, it's like, there's Ted.
You'll be there for life.
I'm there. I'm halfway there.
Talking about Sea Hunt and the technical aspect of television, that was a Lloyd Bridges TV series, probably in the early 60s, but that gave the audience an opportunity to see something that they would not normally see. Those were actual shots of however it was done, but those were underwater scuba scenes, scuba diving.
Hopefully I'm going to bring that to the TV screen too, because I'm in the process of training for underwater photography.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So, and
you're not afraid of sharks?
Yeah.
No, I actually did a lot of diving.
Did you go down the Cape this summer?
No.
Is Jaws celebrating its anniversary?
30th, 40th.
Is it?
Is that right?
I mean, you go down the Cape, you see those people who tag sharks.
Yeah.
They're jumping in the water with them now.
Really?
On the tag them. I saw them the other night. It was a well fleet or something. The guy just jumped right in because couldn't get a good shot. He said, "Let me go in." He jumped in and he tagged the shark.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Well, I love diving. I did a lot of diving when I was in Hawaii, while I was in the Marine Corps.
You have an eclectic background, sir.
Yeah.
You really do.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
What do you train?
Where do I train?
Yeah, where
in New York City.
In New York City.
Of all places,
Wow.
New York City, right?
Huh.
There's a school there. Well, what I'm going to do is go through recertification, and then I'll start training to do underwater photography, and bring it to BNN.
How do you do that?
Excellent.
Do which?
Underwater photography. I
Well,
often wondered about that.
It's your
Are you in a
understanding.
glass?
No. You're in the water. Your camera is in a plexiglass.
That I would.
Interesting.
Okay.
And
that makes
it's
sense.
metering for light and stuff like that. And
You're not
basically
in a
everything is
cage.
staged.
If there are sharks, are you in a cage?
No, I hope. The thing is, everything is a chance, and it's through your education that you know what to look for and things like that. There's a high probability in the East Coast that you're not going to run into a shark, although they are coming up this way. And but for the most part, they are tagging sharks, so they know where they're going to be. When I was in Hawaii, one swam over my head, and I didn't see him, but my buddy saw him, and he tried to signal me. He said, "You didn't see that shark?" I said, "What shark?" But I saw a lot of other things.
Yeah,
Right.
Wow.
So the thing is, and I do know that there are tactics, to avoid them and stuff like that. And but for the most part, I enjoy it. I love every minute of it. The deepest I've been is 100 feet, and it's just as crystal clear as the studio that we're in today.
Wow.
Right.
So much going on. Now, it's with social media?
With social media, okay, as you know, I was in Brooklyn, New York,
Right.
and I filmed or videotaped the Caribbean Festival, brought it back and put it on the YouTube,
Right.
and right away I got 1,600 views.
That many.
So
Wow.
I looked at the stats on that and said, well, this is interesting. I'm getting a lot of views, things like that. And let's look at where it's being viewed.
Right.
Today, I'm being viewed in 39 different countries.
Nice.
So in terms of Marlon's work, get it on the internet,
Get on the internet.
push it out.
Because
And,
art is universal. There's
right,
no question.
right.
Yeah.
And you never know who's going to be looking at it. It could be the President of the United
course.
States. I'm
Sure.
sure he's
Sure.
other things he does.
Sure.
And occasionally
Yeah.
he'll go onto YouTube and do some things.
Excellent.
But that's the way people discover it, by pushing that out, promoting it themselves,
Yeah.
and putting it in different arenas or different communities. And that gets your work out. And you never know who's going to be looking.
Right.
Yeah, for my generation, you know, the internet, YouTube, that's the tool that we use. Facebook,
Right.
that's the tool that we use. Twitter, you know, those things are really important in terms of, you know, being an artist and communicating with others, especially friends and family who are making work. I do have a video actually on YouTube. Good that you
Are
mentioned
we going to
that.
see that? We're going to see a video? That you
I'm
brought?
not sure we're going to see that video, but it's called Playoff X, and it's actually the seed that actually allowed me to germinate all the work that is actually in the show at the National Center of African American
And
Artists.
we have a clip of that here?
No, we don't have,
no, we
do
don't
not.
have that.
No,
we
we do
have
not.
mostly the clips of his work.
Yeah.
But social media, here's your
That's the
chance
key.
to put it out there.
course.
So folks will go to YouTube.
Exactly. Please go to YouTube and take a look at Playoff X, recent works by Marlon Forrester. Also, please take a look at my website, which is www.marlonforrester.com. You can also hit me up on Facebook at Marlon Forrester on Facebook. And, you know, I'm trying to be everywhere. But
So you're
I'm
out
here.
there. You're out
Yeah.
there too, and that
Yeah.
that's an opportunity for people to see your
Yeah.
work.
As an emerging artist, I think it's
Right.
key. It's key that you use as many medias as possible. Yeah.
Now we're having talking about social media in the film industry
Yeah.
here in Boston, in Massachusetts. I've noticed on some social media that some of the actors and actresses that were here the last year or so want to come back here and make movies too.
A lot of them really do like Boston, because a lot of them have filmed in New York and LA most of their lives. So when they, you know, you like to advance your career and stuff like that, they say, let's go to Boston. They said, because we haven't been there yet.
Of course, some of them.
And now some of them loved
Some
it
of
so
them,
much the
yeah.
first time. Like they're coming back. Adam Sandler's doing his third movie here.
Sandra Bullock is going to be
Sandra Bullock
wanting
done
to
his
come
second
back.
movie. We filmed Sandra Bullock right up the street here.
Right here in Dudley Square.
Yeah, right up the street. We filmed at a car. I filmed there about a month ago with Sandra Bullock and stuff. And it's a fun thing for these people who live everywhere to see these stars, you know, because it gives them a thought, maybe I can do this. And a lot of them can. All they need is a foot in the door, as they say.
Ben Affleck filmed right up here at Fort Hill a couple of years ago too.
Wow.
Company men.
Right?
It's the first city too as well, right? Boston. So they get that historical perspective.
Oh, they
too.
love that.
Well,
They love that.
the Charlestown, South Boston look with all the homes really
Yep.
close together.
Yep,
too.
the row houses.
And Roxbury too. The homes, the neighborhood, that neighborhood feel
Yeah.
is appealing. The ambience is appealing, and I guess you can get that here, unlike other places, and that's why everyone comes here.
There's no substitute for the real thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They love the Zakim Bridge.
Yeah.
They all love filming over there. Every movie gets,
right.
they have to film in the Zakim Bridge.
If anything, the Zookeeper made Boston shine. If anything else, I mean, it's a cute little story too, and the graphics are great. They're fantastic.
Kevin James.
But it's Kevin James film. But the scene on the Zakim Bridge and the exterior shots of Boston makes this city shine.
Yeah.
It does. And it's good for everybody.
Don't forget the red bricks.
The red bricks.
All right, those red stones, those cobblestones make the difference.
Yeah, you don't see
The
the
Beacon
we go.
Hill look, the Beacon
Beacon
Hill, and
There we go.
Paul Revere.
Yeah.
well, do we have some visuals to look at?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and I'm gonna Jim, Marlon, and Ted, myself are here to take your calls, and we're gonna look at some of Marlon's work. Is that right? So
Yes.
while we're getting the work up, explain a little bit about what we're looking at.
This piece is called Pre-Season, and the concept or idea behind it was to take a look at our president's youth. And he was also, as we all know, an athlete, basketball player, and to really take a look at not only the collaged images, but also the heroic kind of stance of the silhouetted piece. And he is running for president again. He obviously the two balls symbol give him a chance. He needs one more chance at becoming the president of the United States again. And so in this piece, really talking about, Americana, everyone kind of coming together, black, white, to take part in a sport that we all love.
And it's multimedia.
And it's multimedia, yes. This is a digital image collage together with paper. And
we have a few other.
Yes.
Okay. And we're getting ready to see these. They're on the.
Yes.
Okay. When did you do that?
I did this this summer actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, this piece is actually in the show at the National Center of African American Artists in Roxbury. This piece is called Player in Love. And so in this piece, we have the image of, or a image that looks like the NBA logo, but it isn't. It's actually a silhouette of a young gentleman taking cotton and placing it into a barrel, into a cotton bag. And we have the net kind of represented by the watercolored net kind of patterns behind. And inside collaged is a young woman too as well. So this is the Player in Love.
Okay, we have another one, do we?
Yes.
Okay, that's coming up soon. And you did that recently too?
I did that in late January, yes.
Okay.
This is a painting, and this is it has much more painterly gestural strokes, very kind of abstract piece in terms of the figure, but representing a young man. Collaged inside is a actual basketball player. Dr. J is actually collaged in the middle. And it's hard for you to see, but he's reaching up, extending toward the heights.
Shot?
Yes, that's the backward shot that he's shooting. The young man kind of pensive, thinking about his future as an athlete and thinking about his future in life. And these kind of representational marks talk about struggle, talk about pain and identity as well.
Good, good.
Those are the three shots that we have.
Yes. Yes.
Ted Lewis, Marlon Forrester, and my co-host, Jim Sayer. We'll be back in just a few moments. Don't go away. Stay where you are. 617-708-3280. We would like to hear from you on the season premiere of our show.
My daughter.
Come here.
I love you, Dad.
Well, we're back. Jim Sayer, my co-host, and Ted Lewis, talking about social media. Ted's been on our program many times, and also Marlon Forrester, artist.
Artist, yes.
Any other?
Artist and educator.
Educator, very important. I can tell you that because I feel the same way. So and that's a good role model for our youth also.
Yes.
Because a lot of young people, a lot of young men, may find that their talents aren't quite developed the way it should be.
Yes.
And if they see artwork that you develop, that you work on, and you bring it out, then it gives them the incentive. Now we have something else here.
Yes. This piece is called Basketball Enthroned. And in this piece, this is also an installation. So it's 3-dimensional as well as 2D. It's located at the National Center of African American Artists. This is the installation there. There are rats, white mechanical rats that are running in this black kind of maze that was taken from a free throw line that runs in the direction. The ball in the middle, the object represents cheese. And it's almost like this, the race of life. You know, we're all kind of running for the cheese in a way.
It's like a maze.
It's kind of maze, yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And this was done this summer.
This was done in early or late January.
How many of your how much of your work is being on display? It will be on display.
I have actually 2 shows running now. I also have this show at the National Center of African American Artists, as well as I also have a show at a gallery in Boston. It's at Hall Space Gallery. And I have this piece over here. It's called Bars, Not Bars or Ball. And juxtaposing the prison system with our President Obama playing basketball. In a way, in these pieces, I'm trying to talk about how it's a transcendent sport, where the black man can find himself as a hero, but also kind of contained within an oppressive system, prison system, which represents loss of identity itself.
And people will be able to access this through social media as well.
Of course, yes, through Facebook, or they can find it on my website, www.marlonforrester.com.
It's so important, Ted, isn't it, social media?
Yes.
Without it, where would we be right now?
That's the new means of communication.
Yeah.
Right.
And that, matter of fact, so Marlon and I met through Facebook.
Yes.
And you know, it amazes me that as I walk the streets and people say, "Oh, I know you. You're my Facebook friend."
And Jim, our show is on social media now too.
Right,
This
right.
show is
Yeah,
on
this show
YouTube
will
now.
be, is
Right.
what we're
Yes.
doing. We'll be
Right.
pushing it out.
Yeah.
The thing is that is the way we're doing things now.
And now this is
Now this is a chart showing age distribution of who's engaged in social media, and even though, I mean, right now we're looking at a lot of age groups: 0 to 17, 5%; 18 to 24, 16%. But in the middle, the 25 to 44 age bracket, that demographic is
Right.
in social media. But you know, the senior citizens. I mean, we do a program here at BNN. To Tech Goes Home, where we're training senior citizens to go on the internet and be able to do a host of things, and along with keeping in touch with other family members.
strangely enough, you know, I should say, interestingly enough, of all the people, of all the age groups that we can identify, the ones that would be the most, conducive to utilize social media would be the elderly, because many of them are confined.
Right.
And they have this.
Well, I think I read that in the last couple of weeks, how that elderly housing and stuff,
Right.
they're teaching them now how to communicate with
Computers.
internet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of them are starting to, you know, sit around and say, hey, you know, put down the bingo and little stuff and let's go right in here
Yeah,
and look at
it's
it,
a
because
much
it's more
more-
communication.
Yeah.
And that's what they need, is more communication.
It's an into the world.
You know, and there's one thing that we're missing about social media. This is an opportunity for the handicapped
Yes.
to have employment.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a chart showing who is really successful in using
Right.
social media. And if you look at, I mean, the airlines, television, it's just, and the percentage, very high percentage. That's where they're getting their success. That's where they're able to touch base with people and let them know what's going on. So, I mean, we have to really reinvent ourselves and look at how we're communicating and stuff like that.
But it's taking off now, though.
It's
taken
it's hot.
off.
It is
Yeah.
hot, and the things. I mean,
Based on just your experience with the Caribbean Festival.
right? But I mean, look at this here. You see something happen in the street, you take a picture of your cell phone, and it goes viral.
We see that all the time.
Immediately.
Right. We see that all the time.
Viral.
Yes.
So
Immediately.
there's no hiding anymore.
There was an interesting photo in Australia about the tornado that was on fire.
Now this
believe
is
it or not.
a chart of my work and where it's how it's being played back. YouTube. It starts with YouTube, but then it goes to mobile media, which is your cell phone.
That's a cell phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, look at the number. It's almost the same. So they're looking at the computer, but they're looking on the cell phone too.
I see.
And so what's happening now is they'll pick up our show on their cell phone.
Do you think that the cell phone will be the only device that people will have at some point?
I say in all probability it'll be a high number, but they are working on a new device that's a pair of eyeglasses.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like
yeah,
the,
I've heard of that.
like
Yeah.
the military pilots, they
Yeah.
bring up the screen on their fighter planes.
See, Jim, science fiction is not science fiction anymore.
No.
it's
not.
now.
It's not.
For those who are old enough to remember the Jetsons,
Yeah.
we laughed back then.
It's not.
Everything they had is today's, what they use today.
Right. The one
Including flying cars. We don't see that, but
That's coming up.
It's coming.
the capability is
Matter of
there.
It's already there.
It's there.
They're making it in Massachusetts, and they in
Flying
two
cars.
two months ago.
Flying
Yes,
cars,
you have to go to an airline pilot school and take 8 classes, and the planes can only fly certain amount of height they can, and they're already here. They're being built in Massachusetts.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that they've also, it's called the Google car.
What's that? I never heard of that.
It's computerized. It drives itself. It's done over 300,000 miles. It's had one accident because someone backed into it.
Wow.
So it's pretty flawless, pretty much a flawless device.
Yes.
I think it's connected to the map too as well, the Google Earth map,
Wow.
Absolutely
so it
amazing.
drives by itself.
drives by
pretty
itself.
much.
It's
And I'm saying
The
that
future, hey folks, the
it's
future.
here. And I'm saying that in time they will put a chip underneath your skin.
That happens.
And your doctor will call in and see how you're doing. He'll look right at his phone.
So everything pretty much is going to be
Captain's log is the iPad.
Yep. Gotcha.
And there was a new one released just a couple of days ago.
iPhone 5 is on the
Well, it
market.
seems like you're pretty much on top of this whole
Well, I have to be in order
industry.
to promote. I have to. It's a lot of reading.
and changing too, I would imagine. I mean, this is a constantly changing.
Well, it's just keeping up with the technology. Pretty soon, there's not going to be any more wires. Everything's going to be wireless. And they have it now. I mean, I can videotape something and wirelessly send it to wherever I want it to go.
Is it still strong though? Is it clear?
It's clear.
When it's wireless, usually it fades.
Right, right. But it all depends the proximity of where you're sending. You may want to relay it from an antenna or something like that. But that's getting better and better. It's getting better and better. You know, it's a surgery. You can do robotic surgery in another country, and your robot is in America.
We see this
and
now.
they're
This
calling
exists
from
actually.
another country.
Amazing.
So I mean, it's here, and you know, I must say, I thank Steve Jobs because I think he brought it. He was relentless, and he knew what he wanted, and he
got fired a few times from jobs because people said he was too far advanced, and they didn't believe him. And he kept on pushing and pushing. They fired him. They said, "You're crazy."
But I thank Steve Jobs every day that he was here and he brought us into the next century. So I mean, it's here. It's here.
Let's ask our audience what they may think. 617-708-3280. 617-708.
They could be walking down the street watching us right now. The technology, they could be walking down the street going, I'm going to make this call because I'm right outside.
Well, they actually are because of bnntv.org, right?
Right.
So you could be watching this on social media, the form of social media too. So a very special thanks for all of us, all of you who are watching us on BNN TV, channel 23 and channel 83, on RCN 83, people who are watching us on bnntv.org, and we are now on YouTube, so we are now universal. 617-708-3280, 617-708-3280. Jim Sayer and myself starting our brand new season on the program. A very special welcome to our guests, Marlon Forrester, Ted Lewis, and of course my co-host Jim Sayer.
We all got to do it.
Thank you, John.
No. Well, this is an important part of what we do too, because we're trying to foster, no pun intended, we're trying to foster the entertainment industry and the creative art industry. And we have so much, and you know this better than most because you work with children, and I do too. We have an enormous amount of talent in our schools. We have an enormous amount of talent in our cities. In Boston. Jim, how many of the people that are producing and directing and starring in these major motion pictures are from right here, right from your neighborhood?
70%.
Yeah, exactly.
They really are.
Right from here.
That's right. I live in Dorchester, and I've been living in the same house. This is my 50th year in the same house in Dorchester. I've lived there. And I've seen a lot of changes. And the best thing about everybody is you meet people, as we met Ted, Marlon, and they bring to us new things. And we could use it now. They can show us how to do things now. We didn't know how to do it before we stepped in that door, John, because me and you ain't the sharpest.
Exactly. When it comes to technology, we do great on the TV show, but
we look at each other sometimes and go, we need help.
I mean, this is not
so they're
my
helping
area
us tonight.
either. That's why you're a consultant, you're an expert at this.
Yes.
It's so important. I mean, we love being in front of the camera, we love doing all of this thing, but the technical aspect of it, we leave to people that know exactly what they're doing, because it is intimidating. This is intimidating.
Well,
not for children necessarily, because they're being brought up with it.
But
it's intimidating.
If you want to learn something, find a child.
Of course, of course.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we both work in BPS,
Right.
And everything now is online,
Right.
You know, you get your reports, you get your updates. Everything is online on the wiki site.
Right.
So
It's good to have that stuff. It's good. I have an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old, and
They're experts in the computer, I'm sure.
Yes,
they are. I'm
yes,
sure they are.
yes. They come in. When I had a couple of times. Now they just went back to school, so once in a while, when they're doing their homework, I have to tap them. Come here, I got something on the computer. You got to show me how to get to it and stuff. And they think I'm either one, old, or two, get off the computer. That's what they always say. Why are you even on the computer?
Yeah, well, a lot of that is because they're children, and they're still, their brains are still developing, their minds are still developing, and they're being brought up with this. We weren't. We weren't brought up with this.
No.
And it's taken off to the point where it's rapid at this point.
Yeah.
It's rapid. And the children, of course, are being brought up with it, and they are being exposed to it at school.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
Does the kids at school?
They use iPads.
They use
iPads,
No, but are they allowed to use it during classes?
If
that,
the
that
class
when a teacher is teaching,
yes, if they're
Yes.
teaching
can they still get on their iPad?
Some schools that I teach at, iPads are available. Just depends on the curriculum and the exercise.
They're being supervised.
Supervised.
Now, some colleges, and this is shocking to many people, older people, the libraries don't have even books in it. You know that. I mean, you know that, right? They don't have books. Everything is everything.
E-books.
You can look it right up on the
E-books.
thing. Go.
Yeah. You just purchase it online. And that's your syllabus for the year.
And the nice thing about that is the repetitiveness, that you can play it anytime you want and stuff like that. So, I mean, basically what they're saying now is that anyone can have an education. One of the websites that I belong to, the Khan Academy, they're converting it into languages. So even third world countries will have access to this. If you can get to the internet, and they are affording more people opportunities in third world countries to get to the internet. So now, to hear it in your own language, whether it be calculus or algebra or world history, medicine, biology, you now have an opportunity. It's just a matter of how long can you sit in front of that
Well, you know,
computer.
as educators, we also know that there are many online courses offered by Harvard, MIT, and a plethora of other colleges free.
Yeah, for free.
They're free. I mean, you don't necessarily get credit for it,
Yes.
but the courses are offered free.
Right.
These college courses.
And I just did a project for NYU in creating an e-book, and they're going to look at the possibilities of taking this a little further. And they will afford everyone an opportunity for a live class.
And of course, you have experience in that based on what you did during the summer.
Right. So it's a different world, and it's just a matter of us keeping up with it, and so that we don't fall behind. And
We can't
there's so
afford
much
to at this
information
point.
out
We
there.
can't afford to at this point.
No.
Technology is so important. Like that.
And not only that, it promotes the films that are done right here in the city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
617-708-3280, 617-708-3280, our season premiere. Tonight we're speaking with Ted Lewis, social media consultant. We're speaking with Marlon Forrester, artist, educator, and of course my co-host Jim Sayer. What's going on in the next couple of months? Anything?
There's going to be a few more movies coming here, I heard. I think the Whitey Bulges, the murdering guy.
People are interested in that. Yeah.
They all love
Everybody
stuff like
seems to
that.
be
They
interested
seem
in
like
that,
from Matt Damon to Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
It's going to be Martin Scorsese. There's going to be a big rush to see who can put it out there first. I think people.
Well, the first two are local boys, so they may have a advantage there.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck from Cambridge, and Mark Wahlberg from Dorchester. I think
We've had his brother on the program.
Yes, we have. Yeah, and I think everybody who wants to make a movie is more than welcome to step into Boston. And everyone's busy because I guess the Mass Bureau, where they have to sign up, I think they have 3 or 4 different movies set up just about coming between January and May.
So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Any updates about the movie studios or
the one in Denver's is going to be built by 2015. It's not going to be a big, huge studio, but it's going to be enough that in the winter
it'll be an incentive
to come to here to film inside.
Right.
And that's what you really do need. You really do need, because we know how the winters in Boston.
Right, they're severe.
It gets
They can be
cold,
severe.
it gets snowy, even the rain's tough, and they're not going to come here if they don't have it, unless they're filming a winter scene.
And that's an attraction too, but
Yeah.
you're right, so they have the studio. So there's a lot going on, it seems like. This is going to be a busy year for a lot of the actors.
Yes, yes, in a lot of communities. I know they'll be filming in Dorchester, Roxbury,
Right.
the South End,
And the North Shore.
North Shore and South Shore. I just filmed 4 days this week. I was in North Andover and 1 day in Beverly. And
And there's a Hallmark movie
Hallmark
being shot
movie
downtown.
makeover.
Right, I worked 1 day in that.
Yep, I worked in Charlestown a couple of days, and it's just coming. The flow of things will come. It progressively come all the way over to everybody. Everybody get a piece of the action.
Sounds like lots been going on.
Yes, and the caterers in these places make the money because they're always using all the caterers. And you know, you've been on the set and you said the food is delicious, outstanding. You can't get enough for it,
Right.
You know, and they give you plenty of food.
It's all you can eat.
It's all you can eat buffet style, and the caterers. And I know one kid who has a pizza place. He called them up and they said, "How fast can you deliver 60 pizzas to us?" And he says, "When do you need it?" He said, "In 2 hours." He got
60 pieces in 2 hours?
Well, he had to call another pizza place, and they combined them, 30 apiece. So one pizza place went to another pizza place, you know,
So
competition, and they both put it together, and they got 60 pizzas there in 2 hours.
It's good for business, no
It's
question
very
about
good,
that.
very good.
Yeah, I want to take this opportunity. In the last couple of moments, Ted and myself would like to mention a few things about we were talking about the movie industry, Jim and Marlon. We were talking about the movie industry, the entertainment industry, but we also want to talk about something else that's a part of Boston too. And those are the people that actually run the city, the people that are involved with running the daily operations of the city. So we'd like to take this opportunity, I know Ted has a few words to say too, to give tribute to Bruce Bowling, who served as city councilor for 12 years, 1981 to 1993, is that correct? Served council president for 2 years, and was also instrumental in the Boston Residency Act. He was instrumental in passing that, meaning that 50% of the construction jobs in this city go to residents of this city. 25% go to people of color and 10% go to females. If I'm not mistaken, that's the breakdown. So we want to say a very special thank you to all the work that he has done. Of course, he's passed. Now, September 11th, he went on to his reward, and the funeral was at the Morning Star Baptist Church, attended by an enormous amount of people, from what I understand.
From what I understand, it was a great attendance. There will never be another Bruce Bowling.
Right.
The Bowling family, Royal Bowling Sr., just an incredible person. That whole family love, and those that remain still love Boston and work for Boston. And I was a friend of Bruce. I used to see him walking around Franklin Park.
Right.
And he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed. And I'd just like to send out my condolences and my love to the family, to Joyce, his wife, to his son, and to his brother, Royal Jr., that you guys did an outstanding job, and we're going to miss those who have gone from the Bowling family, but life is not over, and stand fast, because the Boston community stands with you.
He certainly made an impact.
Yes, yes, yes.
So from all of us here at BNN, a very special condolence,
you.
thank you, and memory of Bruce Bowling, city councilor from 1981 to 1993, died September 11th. Bruce was 67.
We're the same age.
67. So we have 4 minutes left, and what I'd like to do is, I know that, Marlon, you gave some information out, so just in case our home audience didn't get that information, why don't you tell us again where the display is going to be, where the special showing is, and then your website.
Excellent, thank you. The showing of my show will be at the National Center of African American Artists, and that is located in Roxbury. And the show is titled Playoff X, and it's recent works by Marlon Forrester. Also, I have another show at the Hall Space Gallery located in Dorchester. That's 950 Dorchester Ave. We are actually having a closing. So on September the 30th, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., there will be a closing. And then the show is also extended until October the 7th. Also, the Roxbury Open Studios reception will be at the National Center of African American Artists. My email, or also my web address, is www.marlonforrester.com. marlonforrester1@gmail.com, and my email is marlonforrester1@gmail.com.
Okay, good, Marlon.
Thank you very much.
No, thanks for being on.
Yes.
You'll have to come back.
Of course.
We loved having you on.
Of course.
Social media expert Ted Lewis. You're a social media expert.
That's very dangerous. Needless to say, I'll be pushing out the announcements. This show will go on. And I can't say enough about social media, that is our new way of communicating. It's basically the same thing as a conversation, but this time your fingers are doing the talking. The one thing that I want to impress upon the viewing audience is be respectful, because it can come around and bite you in the tail. That once it goes out, it goes out. And you know, I'm seeing a lot of pictures
and it can't be
things
erased
like
necessarily, right?
It can't be erased.
Right.
I mean, once it goes viral, it's
there.
there. And your prospective boss can be the one who's looking at it. And they, right now, the way the laws go, they can get your password and stuff like that. So you want to, I think, always be respectful. You know, there's a difference of opinion. There's two sides to the story, but always be respectful and live long and prosper.
And I always say when people put things on the internet, it's like you're putting a resume out there.
Right.
Because what you're doing is putting your life out there, and people are going to see it. Right. So when you put something out there and you're trying to be funny or something like that, think back for 1 second, because it's out there, and you can't take it back. And that's a resume, because like I said, bosses can see it, or anybody else can see it, and someday you might get a phone call saying, hey, I seen what you put out there, and it's not good.
Right.
And you're doing a lot of things too. I mean, you did a lot of films this summer, and hopefully you'll be doing a few more.
Hopefully. Hopefully everybody's going to do a few more.
Yeah.
A very special thank you to all of our people here at the studio, the BNN crew, who we can't, believe me when I say this, folks, we cannot do this without them. So a very special thank you to all of the people here that have helped bring this show into your homes and on the computer and wherever else you happen to be watching it on the planet. We want to thank everybody here. I'd like to thank everybody that came on our program tonight, and join us next month for yet another program about the entertainment industry, something that we feel very strongly about.